Oh yeah, that's cool. Oh, that's really cool. Oh, I love the way you can see it through the armor like that. Ahoy, salty dogs! My name is Lenscap, and welcome to the Star Squadron survival server here in StarMade. Today we're going to be working on, of course, Tortuga, our station, and hopefully we can get a couple of neat things done. I want to start by talking about some of the changes that I've made to the Reactor Core. This is kind of an ever-going project that we may never finish, but well, I mean, we'll finish it eventually, but we're kind of working on it here and there as we go through. But I do want to show you some of the changes. So I started off by, I think this is new, by doing this like bowl shape on the bottom and on the top of this portion. I like this. I liked that kind of filled in, and it's gonna suit some plans that I have for later on with the build. I added in some decorative like cowling or shields, or armor plates or something. I don't like this. Like, it looks kind of cool. It's got an interesting feel to it, but we're more industrial, and this feels more like high fantasy, right? It almost feels to me like cloth. Like, it makes me think of the robes from Assassin's Creed, especially this bottom part, the way it curves into a point and curves back out like that. It really makes me feel like it's cloth, or it's almost too organic-y. Like, we need more hard edges and sharp armor plates. So like if we look at the reclaimer over here, you can kind of see what I'm talking about. With it's got a little bit of an organic shape to it, but like these armor plates, for example, are pretty sharp edges and clean lines, and I think this is just too organic feeling. But I did want to do one thing with you guys real quick. And I think this is going to be a really cool effect. I wanted to throw this in and see how it looks, but I was waiting for you guys because I think this is going to be super cool. Let's go ahead and set some symmetry because we're going to do this on two sides. Now what we're going to do is yellow in our kind of faction or whatever is the energy color, right? That's what we use for our power source, like our thrusters are yellow, and then our like solar panel things, sails are yellow, and then so yellow, yeah, is our energy color. I wanted to put some yellow accents here, so I made a bunch of crystals, and I think we can do something cool with these. If we put them down this like shaft down the middle. Then I made it specifically so that you could get glimpses of this central area as you kind of fly around. That's why the armor has so many holes in it and stuff. So let's really quick just do this to kind of cut it off. Oh yeah, that's cool. Oh, that's really cool. Oh, I love the way you can see it through the armor like that. Okay, yeah, that looks really cool. I'm going to have to rework the armor and stuff around, but I like the idea behind this. I want it to feel more industrial than it does. It feels too fantasy, but I really like where this is going. Oh, yes, this looks great. I like this a lot. Okay, that adds a lot of really cool. Wow, that's cool from every angle as you fly around. I just love the way that you can see the little glimpses of the yellow kind of core of the reactor. Yeah, that's cool as you fly around. That's just the depth that one thing adds. Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. So I also wanted to, I figured if this is where our reactor is from, then we should do this as well with our yellow. And let's find our dark gray because we need some wedges going on here too. And these we'll just put in the corners like this. I should get all four. And that way you kind of have this, it looks like it's coming all the way through. And I've got some ideas for this part. The rotating rings, at least like the gyroscope shape, weren't working. I still want some rotation of these rings though, but we'll probably have to get to that later. We'll have to rethink kind of the way we want to do it, and then figure out, you know, some other way to make that happen. But yeah, I think this is looking good so far. So we'll kind of work on the reactor a little bit every episode, and I'll work on it between episodes and give you guys updates, and that'll be kind of like a long-term project until we really work out the style of the outside. We're kind of gonna build, because this building is primarily like external stuff, and we've got a lot of internal stuff to work on as well. I figured we'd build this to kind of get a feel for what the outside of all of our buildings are going to look like, and then we'll build a little on the outside of our station, a little on the inside of our station every time. So one thing I've set up here is an industrial door that's going to take us from this warehouse area into our production facilities. So if we hit the button, it's going to slowly open, and it's slow by design. I've got these little teeth on the door, so it looks like it really is securely anchored into the floor. This is supposed to be a really heavy industrial door, and I think it accomplishes that. Once we get some more colored blocks and things, we're going to be able to kind of decorate it and make it look really cool and work that out. I found these new light bars. I haven't really used these much, but I feel like they worked really well for lighting this area. They're actually very simple, and they work out very well for this, since we're not worried so much about being able to turn them off, because you can't actually so I tried to turn one off. You can't actually turn these off like you can the actual light blocks. So, but I think that's okay. We're just going to leave our lights on all the time in the warehouse. We'll have robots or something working our cargo constantly. You guys know me and how much I like to have moving parts and things that actually do stuff as decorations. So as we have more and more blocks available to us, as we amp up our productions of materials, then we'll have more and more neat things we can do with our robots and with moving our cargo around. I've got some cool ideas for decorative stuff we can do in this room. It seems like a pretty big empty room for now, but it definitely will not stay that way. Anywho, if you want to see the logic for this, it's super simple. I've got a button on each side. They both link to this flip-flop, and there's a knot linked to the flip-flop as well. The flip-flop is linked to one of these buttons. The knot is linked to the other button. The buttons are both linked to this rail column pillar thing, and that's what the door rides on. There's a rail speed controller set at 1/4 speed, and that's linked to the rails as well, and that's how it works. So if we hit the button, it just switches the flip-flop, which activates the button, this button, which sends the door down. So you can do the buttons to send it up and down. This is super simple door, super simple, and its speed is controlled. You can't, like, if you spam on it, you can't break the door, which is what I really like. Okay, so finally on with the building today. I want to start thinking about size and shape for our manufacturing complex for this. I was thinking we do like a 3-tiered design for this. So we want to come out from here, because this will be our entrance, of course. So we want to come out from here. We want stairs, and we want an elevator as well. We want enough room for, let's call it 9 factory units, kind of. So they'll be about 9 by 9. Let's go ahead and make a 9 by 9 square just to kind of visualize this. How big is this? Yeah, it's really not that big. Let's make it 12 by 12. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I think that'll be a little bit more reasonable. So let's go ahead and lay down our floor actually for part of this, and we'll decorate our floor all neat and pretty once we get a couple more blocks available to us. Right now, we're just kind of working with dark gray is about all we got. So I'm thinking we do, let's see, I don't want to start it right by the door because I want to have an elevator here-ish. So let's do 12, and then we'll leave a 3-block gap. That'll be good. And then we can do another 3-block gap and another 12. How's that? Okay, and then I'm thinking we do 12 by 12, and let's make our ceilings in this room. We want them to be pretty tall, so maybe 20 blocks tall. That's pretty tall, but I want some verticality to this for sure. Okay, and then we'll leave a 2-block gap in the floor for floor and ceiling decoration room. So we want to add, let's see, so we'll do the ceiling here. We'll just put that there as a marker. God, this is going to be huge. Yeah, I like that actually. I want it to be, let's make it, how tall is it? Let's make it 15. I think that's a little excessive. So, but that's why we're trying this out. So if we take off 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that'll be 5. Yeah, I think that'll be a little better, like that. And then we'll do a 2-block gap, and then we'll put another floor, and then we can do our 12 by 12 again. So we can have 3 sets of manufacturing things. I don't care if this lines up perfectly right now. I'm not that worried about that bit. So we'll have that, and then we want another tier below that, I think. In fact, if it doesn't line up perfectly, that might even be a little bit better. So there's that, and then here's going to be where the ceiling goes. Another 15 blocks. And then we'll do our 12 by 12 blocks for where the factories are actually going to rest. So like that. So that's about the size of the building that we're going to put on. So it's about the same size as the warehouse. Yeah, I think that'll work out pretty well for us. And we can do some fancy stairs and an elevator to get between the different floors. Cool, let's get on with it. So I figured I'd start by working on the elevator, and I got this really cool thing. I had this idea to, instead of doing a regular vertical elevator like everybody does, this is supposed to be super industrial, so let's make like one of those gigantic cargo elevators that, you know, has to go down at like a 45-degree angle because vertically it just can't be supported properly or something. So I built this. And it works. It needs to be, it's not decorated at all. And I haven't really like measured the length. I just kind of eyeballed it, and I came out pretty close to where I wanted to be with the elevator thing. So, but we can maybe add 1 or 2 more blocks to get it to line up. I don't think it's ever going to line up perfectly, which is kind of a shame. But we can make it work. I have no doubt about that. But yeah, I think it's cool. We still have to have a floor selector and stuff like that built in, but as a proof of concept, I think it's a really neat idea. So basically what I did was I attached a rotator to the station and then docked the rail to that so that it rotated at 45. You know, you can attach to activation modules to make that happen. And then to get the platform level with the station, I had to dock something to that rail, and that's actually what moves, and then dock the platform to that. So it's 4 docks removed from the station, but the platform works. Let's hop over here and hit the button. We can watch it move and see that it stays level the whole time, which I think is really cool. So now it's moving, and it's just going to go all the way down to the bottom. I haven't added anything fancy floor selectors or anything like that yet. And I like the speed of it too. I don't have any like rail speed controllers or anything, so I don't know where the speed is coming from. but I like the speed that it is. I want it to feel slow and lumbering, similar to that door. So, yeah, that's cool. I think that'll be a really cool elevator to get us between our factories. Okay, so, but that means we got to move the factories over and change the shape of this building. That means it's going to look more, more angular like this. So we'll have our 3 factories on this tier, and then I guess those 3 will start here, and then these 3 will start way back here. So we're going to have to figure that part out next. The time has come to test the elevator. I'm pretty excited for this. I hope it works. I'm a little bit concerned that it's not going to work. Let's put in a gravity block. So now we're in gravity of cargo elevator platform. Perfect. So if I hook this up right, this should take us down. It did not. Let's find out why. Why did that not work? So when we push the button, I'm not on that thing. I'm gonna have to do it this way. Dang it, man. Okay, so when we push the button, it should activate the wireless chain. It does, and it turns on the wireless module. Aha, okay, so I need another and. Alright, so I've got everything hooked up now. It's time to test some things. I've got the logic set up for the elevator, so hopefully this works. Let's hop into gravity. This is the only gravity on the station so far. So I think this button goes up and this button goes down. So if we hit the down button, nothing should happen, and nothing happens. So if we hit the up button, though, it takes us up, and it should stop us at the middle. It looks like it's going to. My biggest concern is the middle section, to make sure that works. If it does work, I'll show you the logic. If it doesn't work, you won't see this, and I'll record it again when it does finally work. Okay, so let's try going up first. Yeah, that worked. That's awesome. So now once we get to the top, we'll have to go down, and then we'll go down again and make sure that works as well. I gotta figure out what to do about this. I might extend it all the way to the ceiling. I don't know what to do about that one yet. Okay, so down works. For now, function first, and then we'll figure out form, because this elevator is pretty cool, if you ask me. I think it's pretty cool. We might do some wedging so that it kind of hugs that a little bit more. All right, here's the moment of truth. Yeah, that works. So now the elevator functions properly. It works. I feel so good about this. But it works in every direction. So from any stopping point, and we only have 2 buttons. They're on the elevator platform itself. So let's hop out of gravity and into a build block, and I'll kind of walk you through how it works. And we'll just do it from this build block. Since there are so many different pieces involved with this, I can kind of point, I guess. So we figured out this is down and this is up, which makes sense because of the direction we're going here. So these are both linked to wireless logic blocks. So you can see the link there. These blocks are linked to buttons. The buttons are linked back to the logic blocks. That effectively makes the wireless logic block a button. So it can kind of go on and then off immediately. We don't need it to stay on. We don't want it to be a toggle. So that lets us treat it like a button. There are activation modules at the 3 stopping points, one at the end, one in the middle, and then one at the other end. Those are linked to AND gates here. So the wireless blocks are linked to other wireless blocks here. So this one is for up, this one is for down. These are linked through these AND gates into these buttons, which control the rails. The reason there are 4 AND gates is we actually, for the middle, we needed an up and a down, so we had to have 2 AND gates for that. If I tore this apart and did it again, I would do it so you could see the logic lines, and just that way you can see how actually confusing it really is. But this works. It's pretty straightforward. One thing to note is that I actually have the buttons tied into the AND gates instead of the wireless modules. I don't know if that matters, but it's the same trick with the buttons here. So the wireless module activates the button. When the button turns off, it turns off the wireless module as well. So that's the same trick. We can actually hop back in and kind of watch it happen. We'll hit the up button, and then watch the logic there kind of do its thing. Let's see if we can get it in frame. So let me hop into gravity, that way we go with the elevator. So you can see it's gonna hit this bottom end, and then it will hit that top button as well. So yep, you can see them. And then after, so this button and this button are both linked to this delay. So this delay is linked to the center, so that no matter what you activate, it sends the elevator on its way and then resets the center. I figured there's no reason to not reset the center. You're never going to go all the way from the top to the bottom, not with only 2 buttons. So this was the easiest way to kind of get that control scheme to work. My only complaint about this is when we go to decorate it, this is a block too far forward, so I can't have 2 blocks of depth. I can fix that. This rail, though, if I could do it again, I would maybe move this 2 blocks further away and flip it around. So we can have a decorative rail here that doesn't actually do anything. But we might add 2 more decorative rails or something. I gotta figure out a neat way to decorate this. But I think we'll be able to get to that. Anyway, this elevator was a really cool project. I hope I did it justice by explaining how it works. If you guys like the elevator and want to put one in your world, I'd love to see it. Send me a picture on Twitter, or if you make a video with it in there, I'd love for you to post it in the comments. And but thank you guys for tuning in. That's all the time I've got for today's episode. I guess we'll see you next time. Hopefully, in the next video, we can build some actually factories and get some production of decorative blocks going, so we can start detailing this station.